AI is moving at this just incredible speed. It feels like every day there's a new breakthrough that could solve some of our biggest problems. But what if that same power, that incredible intelligence, gets pointed in the wrong direction? What's the plan then? All right, let's get into it.
So let's just ask the question straight up. What is the actual honest-to-goodness plan if an AI model becomes powerful enough to cause, catastrophic harm? This isn't some far-off sci-fi plot anymore. It's a real question that needs a real answer. And today we're going to break down one company's attempt to build one.
So to really get why their plan is set up the way it is, you've got to understand the problem they're trying to solve. On one hand, you have this amazing potential, curing diseases, solving climate change, you name it. But on the other hand, you've got these massive risks. We're talking everything from autonomous weapons to manipulating whole societies. It's an incredibly high-stakes game, and you better have a game plan.
And the thing is, as we build these frontier models, the ones that are right on the bleeding edge, the risks just get bigger and bigger as the models get smarter. We're not just talking about a better chatbot here. We're talking about models that could, crash financial markets or design brand new weapons. The key here is you need a plan before things go wrong, not a frantic reaction after they do.
And this is exactly where the AI company Anthropic comes in with something they call their Responsible Scaling Policy, or RSP. The heart of it is this public promise you see right here. They're basically saying, look, we will not build or release these super powerful models unless we are absolutely sure we have the safety measures to handle them. It's a pretty bold line to draw in the sand, and it really sets the stage for their whole approach.
So what does a promise like that actually look like day to day? Well, it's not some dusty document in a drawer. It's a dynamic framework, a living plan that they call the safety ladder. Let's take a look at how this thing actually works.
Okay, so the whole plan is built on this idea of AI safety levels, or ASLs for short. The best way to think about it is like biosafety levels in a science lab, right? A lab that's studying the common cold has, pretty basic safety rules. But a lab working with something like Ebola, that's a whole different story with way stricter protocols. It's the same idea here. As an AI gets more capable and potentially more dangerous, the safety rules have to get much, much tougher.
And this is where that ladder analogy really clicks. It's a simple but really powerful concept. As the AI model gets more powerful, as it climbs the ladder, it's eventually going to hit a predefined tripwire. They call it a capability threshold. And when it does, it's not a suggestion. The model must be placed under a tougher set of safety rules, a higher ASL. The higher you climb, the stronger the safety harness needs to be. Makes sense, right?
Now that's a cool idea, but it immediately brings up a big question. How do you know where to put the rungs on that ladder? How do you actually define those tripwires? Well, that's where this next piece, the capability thresholds, comes into play. These are the triggers for the whole system. So these capability thresholds are basically the red lines. They're specific, measurable skills that are defined way ahead of time, and they signal that the AI has reached a dangerous new level. For instance, they might test if a model can write its own malicious code, or figure out how to replicate itself across the internet. The moment a model demonstrates it can cross one of those lines, that's the alarm bell. It's a clear signal to stop everything and upgrade security before taking another step.
And believe me, these are not just some vague theoretical risks. Just look at these examples pulled right from their policy. We are talking about seriously high stakes. See that first one? A model that could help someone who's not an expert create a chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear weapon. That's CBRN. Well, that's a CBRN3 event, and hitting it immediately triggers their ASL3 safeguards. Or what about this other one? An AI that can completely automate the work of an AI researcher, potentially kicking off an R&D explosion that we can't control. That's what they call AI R&D4. These are the kinds of real-world dangers this policy is built to catch.
Okay, so the model hits a tripwire. The alarm bells go off. Then what? What does leveling up the safeguards actually mean? What's in the action plan?
The protections really fall into two main categories: deployment standards and security standards. Deployment standards are all about stopping people from misusing the AI after it's been released. And security standards? That's about making sure nobody can steal the model itself, the actual code and model weights. So really, one's about how it's used, and the other is about who has it in the first place.
And here you can get a little peek under the hood at what these higher safety levels actually look like. ASL3 security isn't just some vague promise to be more secure. It's a checklist of tough, concrete actions. It means being able to defend against serious attackers like organized crime or terrorist groups. It means building strong digital walls and controlling who gets access.
And, maybe most importantly, it means they have to bring in outside experts and auditors to constantly attack their own systems, to red team them, and find the weak spots before the bad guys do. This is the serious stuff.
Now, all of this sounds really good on paper, but I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking it too. Who's making sure they actually do all this, right? How do we know a company will really follow its own rules, especially when there's so much money and pressure to be the first and the fastest? That's a totally fair question, and the answer has to be accountability.
To tackle that, the policy creates a very specific job, the Responsible Scaling Officer, or RSO. This person's entire job is to worry about this policy. It's not a side project. Their main duty is making sure these safety rules are followed, period. From signing off on new model training to hunting down any compliance issues, it all falls on them.
And this role has real teeth. The RSO has the power to literally say yes or no to training and deploying a new model. They're in charge of the safety budget, they investigate any problems, and they report directly to the board of directors. Think of them as the designated internal stop sign, with the full authority to slam on the brakes if safety standards aren't being met.
But the accountability doesn't stop inside the company. The policy also commits to being transparent to the outside world. This includes things like publicly releasing summaries of their safety test results, bringing in external experts to poke holes in their assumptions, and even having independent third-party companies come in every year to audit them and make sure they're actually doing what they say they're doing. That outside pressure is absolutely crucial for building any kind of real trust.
So what we have here is a detailed, proactive plan from Anthropic. It's got triggers, it's got action plans, and it's got accountability built right in. But it leaves us with this one final massive question. In this race to build something that could be smarter than us, can a policy from a single company, no matter how well-intentioned, ever be enough? Or is this a problem so big that the only real solution is a global one? It's an amazing first step for sure, but it's a question we're all going to have to wrestle with as this technology just keeps getting more and more powerful.